Assalamu alaikum fam, hope you're doing fantastic. So let's begin. We're in the chapters of purification, chapter 60 of Tirmidhi. Please buy these books, just do it. Don't even argue, just do it now. Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. What has been related about wudu from camel meat? Al-Bara bin Azib narrated, Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, was asked about performing wudu for camel meat. He said, perform wudu for it. He was asked about wudu after eating goat meat. He said, do not perform wudu for it. Sahih. He said, there are narrations on this topic from Jabir bin Samura and Usaid bin Hudair. Abu Isa said, Al-Hajjaj bin Arta reported this hadith from Abdullah bin Abdullah, from Abdur Rahman bin Abu Layla, from Al-Bara bin Azib, and this is the saying of Ahmad and Ishaq. Ubaidullah and Adabi narrated it from Abdullah bin Abdullah Arazi, from Abdur Rahman bin Abu Layla, from the Hulgura al-Juhani. And Hamad bin Salama reported this hadith from Al-Hajjaj bin Arta, but he made a mistake in it. He said in it from Abdullah bin Abdur Rahman bin Abu Layla, from his father, from Usaid bin Hudar. And what is correct is from Abdullah bin Abdullah al-Razi, from Abdur Rahman bin Abu Layla, from Al-Bara bin Azib. Fantastic. Yeah. Now, what's cool about this is that, so in the Old Testament, you read how, there's this systematic way of laying it out. Like when we were in Joshua, right? The sons of this tribe, they were given this. And then in the previous sections, there was also laying out all these Jewish tribes and names, right? And some people might feel it's very tedious. But then here, it's like they have the names for you, like ba 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 ba. And I think this is very important to kind of highlight how in the past they kept track in this very systematic way of who's this, who's that, how it relates, and these chains of information. So it's very unique when you see how the people in the past did that. And since it's a patriarchy also in Islam, you want the lineage of your father to be made bare, and they had the lineages of camels that they remembered. And since I grew up around people who had show dogs, the male stud for breeding is okay, this is the the lineage. So this whole tracking is really unique, and it's really, when you start to get used to reading lists like that, it doesn't bother you as much as some people are like, well, I don't want to read the names, but actually you become more familiar and you actually start remembering all the names. You start to recognize them. It's really helpful. It's really helpful. Right? Ishaq said, what is most correct for this topic are two hadith from Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, the hadith of Al-Bara and the hadith of Jabir bin Samura. And this is the saying of Ahmad and Ishaq. It has been reported from some of the people of knowledge among the Tabi'in and others that they did not hold the view that one is to perform wudu for eating camel meat, and this is the saying of Sufyan al-Thawri and the people of Al-Kufa. Comments. The opinion of Imam Ahmed and Ishaq is strong from the view of evidence too, said Imam Nawawi, and Abu Bakr bin al-Arabi also preferred it. Aridatul Ahwadi, Volume 1, page 112. This is also the opinion and fatwa of Ahlul Hadith, which is based on the authentic Hadith. However, according to other Aima, the status of camel meat too is the same as other lawful meat. This opinion is contradictory to the Hadith, so it is weak. Interesting. So the whole conversation around wudu for camel meat. Wudu for touching the male organ. Busra bin Safwan narrated that the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, whoever touches his male organ, then he is not to pray until he performs wudu. Oh, I heard someone mention, the scholar, he said, if you touch it in terms of like, it was an interesting conversation. In terms of lust, right? Or in terms of just like accidental itching, but still, others argued if you had fluid on it. Others would argue, or conversate upon the topic of, was it your left hand or your right hand? But now we're going to get into even more of it here. So, you should touch something, you would do. But I think when we read the other ones about if you use the restroom, you have to do anyways, right? Because it breaks your wudu. But let's see what he says. He said, there are narrations on this topic from Habiba, Abu Ayyub, Abu Huraira, Ara bin Unais, Aisha, Jabir, Zayd bin Khalid, and Abdullah bin Amr. And Jabir, I read in the Fiqh Sira, was once a slave. He was once a slave. Abu Isa said, this hadith is Hasan Sahih. He said, similar to this was reported by more than one from Hisham bin Urwa, from his father, from Busra. Busra narrated a similar report as number 82 from the Prophet, peace be upon him, Sahih. This narrated to us by Ishaq bin Mansur. Abu Usama narrated this to us. Busra narrated that the Prophet, peace be upon him, said a similar hadith, Hasan. This is the saying of more than one of the companions of the Prophet, peace be upon him, and the Tabi'in. It is the saying of Al-Awazai, Ash-Shafi, Ahmad, and Ishaq. Muhammad ibn Ismail, Abu Hari, said, the most correct thing on this topic is the hadith of Busra. Abu Zura said, the hadith of Habiba on this topic is most correct. It is the hadith of Al-Ala bin Al-Harith from Makul, from Anbasa bin Abi Sufyan, from Habiba. Muhammad said, Makhul did not hear from Anbasa bin Abi Sufyan. Makhul has reported something besides this hadith from a man from Anbasa. It is as if he did not think that this hadith is sahih. Interesting. Chapter 62. What has not been related about not performing wudu for touching the male area. Qais bin Talq bin Ali, and he is Al-Hanafi, narrated from his father that the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, is it anything other than a piece of his flesh or part of him? Sahih. Yeah, okay. I remember this in the dialogue. It's amazing. There is something on this topic from Abu Umama. Abu Isa said, it has been reported from more than one of the companions of the Prophet, peace be upon him, and some of the Tabi'in, that they did not hold the view that wudu was required for touching the male organ. And this is the saying of the people of Al-Kufa and Ibn al-Mubarak. That one's a cool name, man. Al-Mughira and Al-Mubarak. That's just such cool names. This hadith is the best thing reported on this topic. And this hadith has been reported by Ayub bin Utbah and Muhammad bin Jabir from Qais bin Talq from his father. Some of the people of the hadith have criticized Muhammad bin Jabir and Ayub bin Utbah. The hadith of Mulazim bin Amr from Abdullah bin Badr, number 85, is the most correct and best. Interesting. Okay. MashaAllah. The ahadith regarding the nullification of ablution by touching the private parts are more and stronger. Therefore, the nullification of ablution is more cautious and accurate. I like how he worded that. Cautious. Right? Why not? You know what I'm saying? Chapter 63. What has been related about not performing wudu for kissing. Now, this is an interesting topic because, I don't know, it's like makes you think, like, does that? You know what I mean? This is a good one. Let's see. Urwa narrated from Aisha, and Allah be pleased with her, that the Prophet, peace be upon him, kissed one of his wives. Then he went to prayer and did not perform wudu. See, this is, I think, you get into the, was it on the lips? Was it on the cheek? Or was it in the French style? Right? That's another interesting point as well. But let's see if it teaches us. He, Urwa, said, I said, who was it except you? He said, so she laughed. Hassan. Who was it except you? That's cute. I hope it sounds like she's giggling. I don't know. Sounds like, oh, you kiss me. Abu Isa said, similar to this has been reported by more than one of the people of knowledge from the companions of the Prophet, peace be upon him, in the Tayyibin, and it is the saying of Sufyan al-Thawri and the people of Al-Kufa. They say kissing does not invalidate wudu. Cool. Okay. Alright, good to know. Highly educational. Malik bin Anas, Al-Awazai, Ashafi, Ahmad, and Ishaq said that kissing invalidates wudu. Oh, here we go. See? There we go. And this is the saying of more than one of the people of knowledge among the companions of the Prophet, peace be upon him, and the Tayyibin. Our companions only avoid using the hadith that Aisha reported from the Prophet, peace be upon him, about this, because they did not consider it correct due to the condition of the chain. Interesting. He said, I heard Abu Bakr al-Latar al-Basri mentioning that Ali bin al-Madini said, Yahya bin Sa'id al-Qattan graded this hadith very weak. And he said, it is more like nothing. Oh, snap. He said, I heard Muhammad bin Ishmael grading this hadith weak. And he said, Habib bin Abu Thabit, a narrator, number 86, did not hear from Urwa. It has been reported from Ibrahim at-Taymi from Aisha that the Prophet, peace be upon him, kissed her and did not perform wudu. And this is not correct either. And we do not know that Ibrahim at-Taymi heard this from Aisha. Nothing is correct on this topic from the Prophet, peace be upon him. Oh. There we go. Let's see. We got some commentary. We're going to learn something right here. The nullification of ablution by kissing a woman depends on whether touching a woman nullifies ablution or not. The companions, the successors, and the Aima are on both sides. The saying of Imam Malik looks authentic, that doing so with lust will nullify the ablution because there is a risk of muddy prostatic fluid. Oh my goodness. I thought so. Flowing out of the organ, thereby rendering the ablution invalid. If it was just a kiss, just out of kindness, he did not hug, the ablution will not break. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Just, okay. That's very informative. Very informative. So, if you're about to pray, it's like both people who, you're like, okay, I want to see you later. It's like the wife's duty, then don't excite your husband, the guy you love, because it may ruin his ablution. His prayer won't be accepted. So, see you later. Just don't get crazy. Wow, fantastic. We learned quite a lot, didn't we? Alright, fam. So we had the beauty of learning even more about the complexities of wudu. MashaAllah.